friends, welcome back to the Maybe a Better One in Its YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about patterns for Valentine's Day, and I'm also going to be sharing a new Valentine's-ish project that I am working on. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, I hope you will stick around. Okay, Valentine's Day. I am not normally a big Valentine's Day person. I do enjoy chocolate, but otherwise, um, it's basically maybe a chance to have a nice dinner. We don't do anything super fancy, but frankly, the country right now is a dumpster fire. Um, and I just feel like we could all use some bright, heart-themed, lovey-dovey patterns to give us a little bit of a mental break, to cheer us up a bit, to give us an opportunity to invest some time in a project that is bright and colorful and happy in a time when the world is not. I am also very much over winter, so I am really ready to get some more bright colors and cheerful projects into my life. And I thought you might enjoy seeing some as well. So today I'm going to be sharing 10 Valentine's Day-ish projects. So they've got hearts or they're pink or, something along those lines, very lovey-dovey. And then I'm going to just share a peek of a project I have been working on in some nice pink yarn, nice and bright, for hopefully a new season coming along soon, and for a day that, while certainly commercialized, at least in theory, is about love and kindness. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so the first project I wanted to share with you are the I Heart socks. And as you can see, they are covered in hearts. This is a pattern by Stone Knits. It is part of her book, Charming Colorwork Socks, 25 Delightful Knitting Patterns for Colorful, Comfy Footwear, but you can also buy the individual pattern on Ravelry for, says, about $5.70 US. So as you can see in the photo here, the sample is done in pink and red and is very festive and Valentine's Day-ish. You could also certainly opt for some different colors, and there are a few samples or projects on Ravelry done in different colors so you can see what that looks like. But these are just so cute and bright and festive and lovely. And of course, one of my goals for the year is to do more color work, so these are right up that alley as well. So the pattern includes 3 sizes. Of course, when you're talking about colorwork socks, it's much harder to get a whole bunch of different sizes because you've got pattern repeats to think about. So 3 sizes are 7, 8.5, and 9.5 inch foot circumference. If you wanted to go bigger or smaller, the easiest thing for you to do is probably to change your gauge, so to go down or up a needle size. So the recommended yarn is Lana Grossa Melon White, which is presumably a fingering weight yarn. It is a light fingering weight yarn. So definitely you want to pick a sock yarn that is on the lighter side. So for example, that's 460 yards for the 100 gram skein, and most, sort of average weight sock yarns come in closer to 400. So you definitely want to go on the lighter side. And it is knit on US 1 and 1.5 needles. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room there. You could easily go, down to 0 or up to 2 if you wanted to adjust the sizing. So there are 588 projects on Ravelry if you want to check out people's different colors and also what yarns people used for this. And the pattern is available in English and Spanish as well. Perfectly appropriate for Valentine's Day, and something you could probably knit up by Valentine's Day if you start today and you actually focus on just one project at a time, unlike me. All right, the next I'm going to show you a bunch together, which is 3 different Valentine's Day heart-themed hats that are just adorable. So we have the Heart to Heart beanie, the Valentine plaid hats, and the Valentine hat. And as you can see, although all of these are heart themed, they're quite a bit different. So the first one, the Heart to Heart beanie, this is a pattern by Noemi Simmer. It is available on Ravelry for $6.50, or it is part of a larger ebook that is available for $18. I don't know what's in that. I'm not looking for it right now. And this one is worked in a worsted weight yarn. This pattern is just available in English. So it only includes one size. Again, since we're talking about color work, adding repeats can be difficult, but changing your needle size, your gauge, and your yarn weight is a little bit easier. So the yarn that is called for is, let's see, Malabrigo worsted. So basically you're going to be looking for a worsted / Aran weight yarn for this one. And you might even have something in your stash right now that would work for this. I actually do have something, but this is actually not my favorite of the three hats, so we'll hold off on that. This one is adorable, and this one looks like the pattern is pretty easy to memorize as well. There's not a whole, it's just hearts in a row, but you could easily use different shades of red or pink to make each row of hearts, mix it up a little bit. You could also use different background colors and keep the hearts on one color. So a really fun project, and it does look cute with that little faux fur pom-pom. So again, that one's the Heart to Heart beanie. Then we have the Valentine hat. Again, another heart hat, but a little bit more involved here. So it has some other, as you can see, some other shaping in here. This one's probably not going to be quite as easy to memorize. You're going to focus on this one a little more. So the Valentine hat is by Kirsten Michelle. It is available on Ravelry for $6. This one does include multiple sizes. This one is also knit in DK weight. So usually it's easier to add more sizes when you are using a lighter weight yarn. So the pattern includes child, adult, small, medium, and large. And that is to fit head sizes 19 and a quarter, 21 and a quarter, 22 and a half, and 24, knit on US 4 and 6 needles. So this is also stranded knitting. That is a technique you would have to know or be ready to learn. This is probably a good way to work on your stranded knitting if you haven't done it before, or not very much, because it is a heavier weight. Doesn't look like there are a lot of long floats in here. And it's, trying to, for example, do color work on a little sock can be a little tedious because of the small circumference. But in this case, you have a whole hat. So this one, the recommended yarn is Miss Babs Yowza, which honestly, I would probably not use that, just because, as I recall, the Yowza is sold in really big skeins. So yeah, it says it's sold in 560 yard skeins. You don't need anywhere near 560 yards for this hat, even if you did the double brimmed version. So unless you already have the Yowza, I would probably look for a different yarn for this. So a Yowza is just 100% merino. You can find that in a lot of places in a DK weight. So I personally would probably not use that recommended yarn, although it is a lovely yarn to use, and I have used it before. But you just do not need to buy, because you need two colors. So that's well over 1,000 yards of yarn for a hat. That's ridiculous. Unless you're going to make a whole lot of these. But it is a cute hat nonetheless. And then the third one is my personal favorite of these. I may have to make one of these, and that is the Valentine plaids hats. This is a pattern by Cassandra May. It is available on Ravelry for $6.50, and it also uses worsted weight yarn. This pattern actually includes a whole lot of sizes. So it goes from 0 to 3 months all the way up to the adult large. And it looks like the plaids, there are actually different options for the plaids. It's not just one plaid. It says, yes, 3 different plaid patterns plus a row of hearts. Really cute. So the recommended yarn is Vanna's Choice by Lion Brand. I'm not personally a fan of acrylic yarns, especially on my head. It's just kind of sweaty. But that's an Aran weight yarn. You can easily substitute plenty of other Aran weight yarns out there. It does say Aran, and in 170 yards for 100 grams, that is definitely heavier than your kind of traditional worsted. So there aren't very many projects of this on Ravelry, and I personally am not familiar with this designer, but that is just a really cute take on a hat that maybe has not gotten as much attention as it should, because these are just really cute. I probably would not knit this necessarily for myself, but I do have a new niece coming later this year, and that might be for that, especially for a baby. You really are not going to need a lot of yarn for this. You can probably grab it out of your stash, especially if you're not too picky about the colors. So that one is my favorite of the 3 hats, and that is the Valentine Plaid Hats by Cassandra May. All right, this next project is part of the doodle motif. So if you're not familiar with and you haven't seen this on Instagram or anywhere else, it's basically mix and match color work charts that are very small. So you would have, a small chart for this little heart shape and a small chart for this little XOXO shape, and you can kind of mix and match and combine them all together any way that you like. So this pattern is in particular is called the Valentine-themed doodle cowl. This is the infinity version of the cowl, which basically means probably you do a provisional cast on, you knit the whole thing in the round. When you get back to the end, you sew the 2 ends together, and then you basically have a very long tube sewn together that's going to make a double thick infinity scarf kind of deal. So this pattern is by Jamie Lomax, and it is available on Ravelry for $8, and she has a whole bunch of these little doodle kind of patterns and things going on. And again, it's basically like she gives you the general stitch counts and things for the shape, if it's a cowl or an infinity cowl or a hat or whatever, and then you just put in the charts that you want and mix and match them however it looks good to you. It has sizes. I'm not really sure why you you just knit it until it's as long as you want and then sew the ends together, but whatever. It has 3 sizes. And it is worked in a DK, light worsted, or sport weight yarn. Again, this is a cowl. It's very flexible. It doesn't have to be, you can make it wider, you can make it narrower, you can make it as long as you want. Gauge is not super important as long as you're getting fabric that you like. So you don't want fabric that is too loose, and you also don't want it to be too dense with the color work. The recommended yarn is Merino DK by Moonglow Yarn Company, which is 100% merino. So pretty much any merino in here, you're going to be able to swap in. And it is in all of these lovely pinks and purples and reds and stuff for Valentine's Day. So this is absolutely adorable. Again, you have so much flexibility with ultimately the size of this one. This could be a long-term project because it is, if you do decide to make it quite long, you're basically, since it's worked in the round, a front back, color work. This is not going to be a quick project. You could definitely use scraps for this one. You could really just have so much fun with it because it's so flexible. Maybe not going to be done for this Valentine's Day, but maybe you cast on this Valentine's Day and use it as a project throughout the year just to keep the spirit of Valentine's Day alive. So again, that's the Valentine's-themed doodle cowl. All right, this next one is a little guy you could definitely have done for Valentine's Day. This is Love Bunny by Esther Braithwaite. This is just an adorable little guy with a little heart sweater. And you could probably, if you weren't real big on the hearts, you could put a different design in there, but he is just so adorable. And if you have little people in your life that you want something special for Valentine's Day, this is probably a good chance to make something cute for them. So this is available on Ravelry for a grand total of $2.17 US. It uses worsted weight yarn, so it's going to work up quickly. The particular yarn is Knit Picks Simply Wool Worsted, which I'm a big fan of. And it says it includes instructions and charts for both flat and circular knitting. So it's worked from the bottom up. Simple sewing techniques are used to create the arms and legs. It does not say how that little heart motif is created. It's probably duplicate stitch. But this is just such a cute little guy that I think would be absolutely adorable if you have little people that maybe just for yourself, you want a cute little guy. And I am showing you the bunny, but I know there's also a teddy bear that is equally cute. So apparently he is about 7 inches tall if you use the worsted weight yarn. You could easily use lighter weight yarn and smaller needles to make a smaller little guy. But he is such a cutie and just adorable for this holiday. So again, that's Love Bunny. All right, next up we have the Spread Your Love mitts, a pattern by Ducathy or Ducathy, I don't know. This is available on Ravelry for $7.07 or 650 euros. And as you can see, this is an adorable pair of fingerless mitts that have little half heart motifs on the thumb. It's just really cute and just a sweet little detail. So she has lots of samples here in lots of different colors, but of course, showing you these little Valentine's Day themed with the pink and the white. So there's only one size, but it does say adjustable by needle size, and it does use a fingering weight yarn. Pattern is also available in German, and lots of German here. Here we go. Okay. So this one uses 3 colors. You could definitely just do 2. So the pattern shows sort of the colorwork motif and then another contrast color for the ribbing, but that's not essential. And they don't specify a particular yarn. It just says fingering weight. And of course, there's plenty of fingering weight yarns out there, so that makes sense. Though sometimes it is nice to get the exact colors, but unfortunately, we don't have that information here. And again, this is going to be more stranded color work. So increasing or decreasing your needle size is what is going to give you a bigger or smaller mitten. So the one size included is woman. See if it says anything more than that. It does not even say what the finished size is, unfortunately. At least on the pattern page. Maybe in the actual pattern you get a little bit more information. But really cute. Love sort of like the inverse with the hearts, going back and forth in different colors. And I do think that the ribbon contrast looks nice, but again, absolutely not essential. So that is the Spread Your Love mitts. All right, my next 2 ideas are really more for a Valentine's Day cast on for yourself, in that they are sweaters that are definitely not going to be done by Valentine's Day, but are sort of subtly Valentine's Day themed and might make a nice gift to yourself. So the first one is, of course, the Love Notes. This is an exceptionally popular pattern. There are 14,000 of these on Ravelry. This is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It is worked in a fingering weight, held double with a floof. So this is worked from the top down. It is definitely sort of a lighter weight sweater, fingering weight and mohair on US 7 and 10 needles. So that's definitely going to give you almost a sheer fabric, especially with the lace across the yoke. This is sized for basically everybody. So it goes from 0 to 6 months all the way up to a 6XL. And they do show several samples here. So one is La Bien-Aimée yarns, and the other one is Rainbow Heirloom, which I believe is Tin Can Knits brand of yarn. So as I said, there are 14,000 of these on Ravelry, so you can get all of the modifications, you can get all of the different yarns people have tried. They've got tons of tutorials here to help you. So this is definitely a very comprehensive and well-loved pattern. All right, my ring lights are acting up, so we'll have to go with a little darker mood lighting here. And I was just interrupted by a call from my son's school yet again. So I kind of have lost my train of thought, but we were talking about love notes, very popular pattern by Tin Can Knits. Tons of examples if you would like to hop on Ravelry and just look at all of the different iterations of this. Beautiful yarns used. Lovely little gift to yourself for Valentine's Day. And then the next one I want to show you is one that is not super duper explicitly Valentine's Day, but definitely has the vibe, and that is Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry. So the yoke design here is not, it's not hearts, but it looks a little bit like hearts, and of course the colors are very Valentine's Day. So this is knit with fingering weight yarn and floof. I believe, but unlike a lot of other patterns, the fingering weight yarn is, I believe, held single, and the floof is used to create that color work motif. And the pattern includes 9 sizes, finished bust circumference from 32 up to 64 inches. And obviously the yoke is a stranded colorwork, so you do need to know that technique. So what's very interesting is that for some reason the languages just says it's available in Japanese. I'm pretty sure it's available in English, so don't know why it says that. But so I think this, again, not like an in-your-face Valentine's Day, but definitely has that sort of pink Valentine's hearts kind of vibe. And she does describe it as very romantic. So I think it really fits the bill and would be a nice gift to yourself for obviously not 2 weeks from now, but perhaps sometime in the future. It would make a really fun, thematic cast on for Valentine's Day if you're into that. And the pattern is available on Ravelry for $9. And then the last project I want to show you is definitely something you could have done by Valentine's Day, and that is Love and Light by Laura Nelkin and Jen Hohenboken, or Hohenbakken, I'm not sure, which is this lovely little heart knit with fairy lights. This is so cute. And I think Laura Nelkin has been doing a lot of these over the past year or two. And this is just such a cute idea for decorating your studio or your bedroom or wherever it is that you work and spend most of your time. So it actually includes 2 sizes. One is small for a 200 light strand, and the other one is for a 300 light strand. So the smaller one is using the US size 11 needles, and the large is using a US size 17, which is very, very big. Maybe not something you have on hand, but you might have the US 11. That comes in a lot of the interchangeable sets. So the pattern is available for $6 on Ravelry. They have some nice different versions here with different colored lights, which I think looks really cute. You can get these lights on you can get these lights on Amazon very easily. Definitely, I would personally suggest getting the battery powered ones. Because that way you don't have to worry about finding a place, to hang it where it's near a plug. But obviously that is very much up to you. And this is such a cute project that could be finished up so quickly. You could absolutely use this for Valentine's Day this year to decorate around your house. So again, that is Love and Light. And you can find that on Ravelry from Laura Nelkin and Jen Hohenboken. All right, and I wanted to just take a few minutes to talk about a kind of festive Valentine's Day-ish project that I have been working on, and that is these mittens. So if you have watched recent episodes of the podcast, you know that I had recently sort of just designed on the fly a pair of mittens for myself. And then I decided that I really needed them to be in a brighter, springy, hopeful color. So I had originally made them in teal, and they are lovely and they're very wintry, but I'm really, like I said, I'm over winter. And the pattern was a little bit harder to see in the teal yarn. But as you can see, using this nice pink yarn, they have like a little, it's just a dip stitch, but it almost looks like a heart. running down the front. So I am now calling these my Valentine's Day mittens. These work up so fast. I will be honest with you. I cast this on. I cast this on about 3 hours ago. And I stopped for lunch and did other stuff. So this works up very quickly. I am using a worsted weight yarn. This is Friends Wool from Hobbii, however you pronounce it. I want to say this is the Dusty Rose colorway. When I was picking out some yarn for, this is part of their Valentine's Day campaign, obviously it was going to be reds and pinks and stuff. I definitely wanted something, not a bright pink, I'm not a bright pink person, but definitely something pink and a little bit lighter for hopefully the end of winter. So I will put this on a little bit. I just finished basically up to the top of the thumb. Okay, well that just looks dumb. Okay, there we go. Sure would be nice if the damn ring lights were working. So as I said, this is a very quick knitting pattern. It is relatively straightforward and easy to memorize. This wool is not the softest wool I've ever used, but it is plenty soft. So I think, hang on. So this is just a 100% wool. It doesn't say what kind of wool. Just says 100% wool. That's all we know. So it's not superwash. It is made in Turkey. So it is not super soft, but it is plenty soft, especially for mittens. So in terms of worrying about itch, that's, usually something like in the neck area, or that's a big concern. Hands, not so much. So this is plenty lovely for a pair of mittens. I think it's a little bit like wool of the Andes. I haven't used wool of the Andes in a long time. I think it is a little rounder than wool of the Andes, a little more tightly plied. But in terms of how soft it is, I'd say it's kind of in that region. So as I said, this has been working up really quickly. I don't know if I'm going to make this into a pattern or not. If there is interest in it, maybe I will. But it's fine if it's just a project for me. But I do like a little bit of a Valentine's Day look with this dip stitch in the nice pink, springy. The darkness of winter has passed, and now we can be a little brighter, even if it's still cold enough to wear mittens. So I, for some reason, thought this was going to take a lot more yarn than I ultimately think it is. So this is probably about halfway done. I've got plenty of yarn left. So I do think probably 2 mittens is going to take maybe a ball and a half of yarn. And this is a very reasonably priced yarn. I don't remember exactly how much, but and if you've missed my previous episodes, I have ordered from Hobbii a number of times now, and the shipping is surprisingly fast from Denmark. So that is the sort of Valentine's pink, brighter, happy, let's pretend the world is not on fire project that I have been working on. All right, that is what I had to share with you today regarding Valentine's Day themed projects, including my own. I hope you found this video useful or interesting. If you have a favorite Valentine's Day project, please share in the comments. I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. New knitting videos here every Saturday. In the meantime, if you are looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Mini Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.